I'm Tondalea Allen, and you're listening to Queen of the Minivan podcast. Listen in for inspiration, optimism, and humor for lovely days, bad days, and everything between. Spend some time with the real, not so squeaky clean Christian wife, mother, and author with opinions for days. Let me tell you a story. When I was about 12 years old, I think I was 12. I was about 12 years old. I liked this boy named Carlos. I really liked this boy. He wore Jordache jeans, Adidas shoes, and he always had his drumsticks with him. And sometimes he'd be sitting out on the front porch, drumming on the edge of the porch. And I just thought he was so cool. I thought he was cute. And he was not paying attention to me because he was I was a little girl. He was a couple of years older than I was. And so one day I was having this conversation with one of his friends who happened to, and this is the only way I could have this conversation with this person. He actually was the son of my mother's friend, Patricia, who lived across the street from us. And Lucky, that was his name, his nickname, he gave me some advice. He pretty much told me that the way that I dressed was the issue, and that if I wanted to get Carlos's attention, I needed to, kind of dress like the other girls were dressing, with the jeans and the tennis shoes and all of that, because I was still wearing dresses. I was wearing slacks. My mom was a seamstress. She could sew really well, and she had made me this pair of slacks that I just loved. And I had her make them for me in like every color fabric that she could get. So I was a little, bookworm, and I was not cool at all. The girls that he seemed to pay attention to had the cute little cuts. They wore tight jeans, they were already on that level, and I was a little girl. So I told my mom I needed some tennis shoes. I told her I needed these tennis shoes and I needed some jeans. And she took me to Greenbrier Mall, and I got my first expensive pair of tennis shoes, trying to impress this boy. And got the jeans, got the tennis shoes. I did not feel comfortable in the least. It was not my style. It was not how I like to move through life. I liked sundresses at the time. Like I said, I loved my slacks. And it took me a minute. I had to make a decision because none of this stuff really got his attention. I had to make a decision about, was he worth changing myself for to try to get his attention? It wasn't working. I wasn't comfortable. I went back to my dresses and my slacks. And let me say too, when I was about 18 or 19 years old, he came around. He tried to talk to me. But at that time, I was married and I wasn't interested anymore. So in terms of, maybe we've all been there. You like a boy, you try to get his attention. And at some point you have to decide, is it worth it? If this person doesn't like you just as you are, why should you change to try to get their attention? I don't know how many of you remember Extreme Makeover, when they would do the makeovers and they would overhaul somebody's complete look. Well, they were doing a particular procedure at the time, removing fat pads. And I've always had fat cheeks, and I thought, wow, I didn't know they could do that, and I didn't like my fat cheeks. I always had a round face. And I would have paid money to them for them to remove these fat pads from my cheeks. And I had to move through that phase of acceptance. You have what you have. And, I had to get to that point where I realized that it was okay to have fat cheeks. I actually think at this point, having, some plumpness in my face makes me look younger. And you have to accept what you have and where you are, because no matter how thin I was, no matter how thin I could get, no matter how much weight I'd lose. The fat pads, the fat cheeks, my fat cheeks are not going anywhere. And as an adult woman, I just thank God that I'm over all of that. Not that I don't still want to be cute. Of course, I want to be cute, but not to the point where I obsess over a particular thing or put myself in danger trying to achieve it. So I tell my girls all the time, you better love what God gave you. Strangely, I don't seem to have to give this speech to my son, Jonah. And I'm wondering whether that means he's more secure than my girls or he just processes in a different way. And this might be something for future podcast, just some thoughts on this, because I wonder, with everything that's going on in the world, I think we women have maybe a greater burden in terms of the physical. And it hasn't seemed to touch my son as much. He's into the things he's into. I'm not saying he never has an issue, but it seems to be more of an issue when I'm talking to my daughters. Ladies, work with what you have. Don't change for anyone. So your sister's breasts, her hips are bigger than yours. You wish your hair was longer. I know it's difficult in this world because there are so many things out there showing us what we should have, how we should look. Things on TV, magazines. And so often we are judged by this physical side of us. And while there is nothing wrong with admiring someone else's beauty or talent, after you're done admiring someone else, take a long look at yourself, not just in the mirror. Take a look at who you are and be grateful for those pretty eyes, that warm smile, your kind heart, your sense of humor, your devotion, your passion, your spirit of determination, your creativity, your victories. Because all those things are what make you truly beautiful. If you like today's podcast and you enjoy a good read, check out my books, Honey in My Tea, Knockout Rose, or With Your Broke Ass. You can find them all on Amazon. Thank you for listening to Queen of the Minivan. Until next time, be sweet, be grateful, and stay optimistic.